Hi, hello, this is Dr. Cidambi. We are going to talk about something very interesting, fascinating, avunculate marriage. It is getting married to your mother's brother. It's marrying an uncle. In some cultures, this is a tradition. It's mostly seen in South Asian, India, Pakistan. It's a lot of WHY. That's not weird. It is a cultural. So the reason why they do this is because keeping the money in the family, wealth in the family. Imagine a society where land equals power, right? So inheritance can only be inherited by sons. So the land stays with your side of the family. So marrying your daughter to your brother will keep the wealth in the family. The Romans have done this. So the idea of really strong family bonds, so it's also inheritance or it's also more to it. It goes way deeper than the money. For many cultures, the family ties is the foundation of everything. So marrying your own uncle, kind of doubling down that connection, reinforcing the bonding. So imagine a world without a social safety. So no government aid, nothing. So it's your family is your insurance policy. So building that super strong foundation, you can face your life no matter what it is. And your uncle might be the most powerful person in that, you know, in that circle. So how does it elevate your standard? So imagine your uncle is the one who's supporting and marrying into his line. You have an access to everything. You're aligning to the a person who is, you know, basically marrying into royalty. You're not getting a crown, but equally valuable security, influence, and protection. So, talking about security, the economic stability may be the huge factor back in those days. So, 200 years ago, famine, disease, war, marrying into a family with resources would really be a difference between life and death. So it's a practical decision back then. Survival sometimes trumps romance, right? So fast forward to today, things are now different. Sources, have shown that modernization, globalization, are they rethinking this practice? With new ideas spreading, people are starting to question old ways. And it's not easy. It's very difficult to balance the tradition with the modernization. There's a huge internal debate into how to hold on to their heritage and also how to, assimilate into the modern world. So the genetics of us all. So we can ignore the science here. When you have children with someone closely related, there is a higher chance of genetic problems. So inbreeding can be a bad thing, but the specific risk we are thinking about is like we all carry genes, right? Some are dominant, some are recessive. The recessive ones, they need to come from both parents to cause a problem. So if your parents are closely related, there is a higher risk and a higher chance of getting the recessive genes. So it increases the odds of having a child with genetic, diseases like cystic fibrosis. So it's a trade-off, right? So social, economic, so security at what cost? So with the genetic issues. So really, South Asia, in Africa, this is where it's happening. It's more common regions where it's happening because it's history, basically. Think about ancient trade routes. The Silk Road, for example, or people were traveling, trading, mixing cultures for centuries. Practices spread along this, like the path, like an exchange, right? The traditions, they travel. So this certain practices like avunculate marriage is concentrated in certain areas and then it spreads. It's all interconnected. So it's really like a different perspective about marriage. It's more complicated than just thinking of, oh, you're getting married to your uncle and it's weird. It's a social, security and like having that safety and the bonding within the family. How do we judge practices which are so different from our own when culture really, lays the foundation for this kind of practices? So it's a whole world out there beyond your own backyard. So we need to like really be open and accept this avunculate marriage, which is still in practice, but more so the awareness of the genetic, the recessive gene getting passed along to their offsprings, and the awareness has started making some drastic changes in these areas. So on that note, guys, what do you think about this? If you have any insight into it, feel free to talk to me. Let me know. Avunculate marriage is okay today, or we need to rethink about it. All right? Your experience and your feedback are very important. I want to hear from you guys. And until the next video, have a great time. Bye-bye.